equivalent to the cost of a car. If the soldier is in special forces, the total value of their gear can reach $200,000, $300,000, enough to buy a small house in the U.S. All of this is made possible by America's enormous defense budget. In 2023, the U.S. defense budget reached $916 billion, more than the combined total of the next 10 highest spending countries. Therefore, if one asks whether the U.S. Army is strong, the answer is yes. Not only compared to other branches within the U.S. military, but especially when compared to the armies of other nations, where it remains overwhelmingly superior. After discussing the three major branches of the U.S. military, the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force, let us now examine the United States Marine Corps. The U.S. Marine Corps is an amphibious ground combat force and a special operational unit within the U.S. military. Its primary mission is to use the fleets of the U.S. Navy to rapidly reach crisis zones around the globe and carry out combat operations. The Marine Corps is an independent branch, equal in status to the U.S. Navy, both under the Department of the Navy. It has a total of 181,000 active duty personnel and 38,500 reservists, numbers equivalent to the entire military force of some nations, making it the largest Marine Corps in the world. They are equipped with a wide range of modern weapons, including F-35 fighter jets and MV-22 Osprey helicopters. For this reason, the Marine Corps is often referred to as America's Third Air Force and Second Army. Since its inception, the Marine Corps has continuously participated in major battlefields for decades, taking part in many famous battles such as Guadalcanal and Iwo Jima. Through these campaigns, the U.S. Marine Corps quickly became highly elite and established itself as an indispensable component of the U.S. military's independent branches. If war were to break out, the first question the U.S. president would ask after inquiring about the location of the aircraft carriers would be, "Where are the Marines?" This highlights the critical importance of the force. The Marine Corps not only possesses formidable individual and collective combat capabilities, but is also armed with state-of-the-art weaponry. In addition to the standard M16A4 and M4A1 rifles, the force fields heavy machine guns, naval artillery, grenade launchers, numerous tanks, and fighter aircraft, comparable to an upgraded version of Special Forces equipment. Furthermore, with the support of transport aircraft and aircraft carriers, the U.S. Marine Corps has a huge advantage in rapidly deploying forces to any global hotspot. Currently, the Marine Corps is divided into three main components: ground forces, aviation forces, and logistics forces. These three elements have clearly defined roles and work closely together. The ground forces include three Marine divisions, among the largest ground combat units in the world. The aviation forces primarily provide air support for both land and sea operations, protecting and assisting ground units. The logistics forces are responsible for supplying materials, ensuring that U.S. global military operations run smoothly. The Marine Corps is often used as a rapid reaction force, and it is the only branch in the U.S. military with authority above others, as most of its missions come directly from the President without congressional restrictions. During combat, it relies only on U.S. Navy warships and does not directly take orders from the Navy. All of this demonstrates that the U.S. Marine Corps is not only an elite fighting force, but also a uniquely important political and military tool for the United States in any international crisis. In fact, the United States Space Force was established earlier than most people think. It is the first new branch created since the Air Force became independent in 1947 and is one of the three major components under the Department of Defense. On December 20, 2019, the Space Force was officially designated as an independent service within the U.S. military. In terms of personnel, It is the leanest force within the Pentagon, with about 2,100 active duty members and 13,100 personnel transferred from the Air Force. The Space Force's primary mission is to organize, train, and equip to protect the interests of the United States and its allies in space, while providing space-based capabilities for joint operations. Among the 4 nations in the world that have space forces, the U.S. Space Force is the strongest. Currently, the Space Force manages the U.S. military's satellite warning systems. These include infrared satellites and multi-orbit early warning satellites. They are capable of detecting missile launches during the boost phase, mid-course, and re-entry. Notably, 2 high-orbit infrared satellites can provide long-term surveillance of military activities across the Northern Hemisphere. The main goal of this system is to detect intercontinental ballistic missile launches from mid and high latitudes, as well as from northern waters. Once the system is fully deployed, it will serve as America's primary early warning shield for decades to come. Furthermore, the U.S. military is developing a new generation of satellite warning systems capable of tracking not only ballistic missiles, but also surface-to-air, air-to-air, and even hypersonic missiles. Once operational, this system will significantly impact how nations conduct missile warfare. In recent years, the U.S. has also focused on developing high-orbit space combat capabilities, including the deployment of offensive and defensive satellites. According to U.S. media reports, America already possesses maneuverable spacecraft, small-scale space surveillance satellites, experimental offensive-defensive satellites, and orbital patrol satellites. These assets will undoubtedly pose significant threats to the satellites of other nations. In June 2022, the Space Force also established its own independent intelligence agency, known as the National Space Intelligence Center, NSIC. Its mission is to monitor and detect threats to America's space assets while providing intelligence on the movements and intentions of foreign space programs. In short, the U.S. Space Force represents a critical step forward, affirming America's ambition to dominate outer space, the battlefield of the future. After reviewing the full strength of the Navy, Air Force, Army, Marine Corps, and the Space Force, the ultimate question arises: can the United States be defeated? In theory, if all the nations of the world united together, there might be a chance to defeat the U.S. But in reality, this possibility is almost non-existent, especially when America possesses a vast nuclear arsenal. Apart from unrealistic scenarios, such as internal collapse or an alien invasion, the United States will remain the world's leading superpower throughout the 21st century. If you found this video valuable and insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss upcoming videos from High Global New Update. Your support is the greatest motivation, helping me keep the fire alive and continue sharing objective, profound perspectives. See you in the next video. Thank you, and goodbye.